So, in the world of the Der Villain mythos, the old villains, well, they're dead. But what's crawling out of their ashes is honestly way more terrifying. Today, we're going to break down the architects of this new Inferno, Wotan's sovereign rivals. And these aren't just your standard bad guys, they're entire philosophies, each one with a chilling vision for what existence should be.
And that really brings us to the central question, doesn't it? In a world where Wotan has just smashed the old order to pieces, what actually comes after the death of hell? The old rulebook, sin and punishment, good and evil, it's been thrown out. This is the new, blank, terrifying landscape that Wotan and his rivals are fighting to define.
To really get a handle on these new threats, we first have to look at the old ones. So, let's meet the deposed bureaucracy, the former management of Hell, the Inferno Council, who you might also know as the Red Judges.
The Red Judges system was, well, brutally simple. A binary of sin and punishment. You break a rule, you suffer. That's it. It was this legalistic, totally predictable bureaucracy of suffering. But then Wotan came along and proved that suffering wasn't a penalty at all. It was a tool for power. And with that one single revelation, he made their entire system, their whole reason for being, completely obsolete.
They were stagnant, bureaucratic, basically the middle management of the void. Just a failed hierarchy despised by Wotan for their obsession with rules and looked down on by the new breed of evil for having absolutely zero vision. For all intents and purposes, they're gone.
And this right here marks a huge shift in the very nature of evil itself. See, the Red Judges were all about moral evil, the idea that evil punishes you for a reason. But what replaces them is cosmic horror. And this is a force that doesn't care about your sins. It's an evil that crushes you simply because it is larger than you are. And that sets the stage perfectly for Wotan's true rivals.
All right, let's meet our first sovereign rival, the Crimson Jester. He's this prophet who preaches what's called the gospel of agonizing joy. He isn't just an opponent for Wotan, he's a rival architect with a completely radically different blueprint for reality.
The core of his entire philosophy boils down to this one idea: fire creates hunger. For the Crimson Jester, this hunger, this constant striving and desire that's born from struggle, that's the only real engine of existence. It's not something you're supposed to satisfy, it's something to be endlessly fueled.
So what exactly is agonizing joy? It's the belief that pain and struggle aren't obstacles. They are the whole point. Where Wotan endures suffering to try and build something new, the Jester just argues that we should revel in it, that the agony is the ecstasy. This completely flips the script on the Red Judge's world, where pain was a punishment. For the Jester, pain is the prize.
And we get this fantastic metaphor for their conflict. If Wotan is the unyielding hearth, a stable foundation that's meant to last, the Jester is the brilliant spark. Just a flash of destructive, beautiful fire. He literally mocks Wotan for even trying to build something, claiming that in a universe defined by hunger, the only honest thing you can do is just burn.
And here's how he does it. The Jester's main weapon is this radical, almost violent form of self-love. It's a weaponized narcissism that he uses to shatter every rule, every code, every single bar of what he calls the God-sized cage of morality. He even pushes Wotan to ditch his own codes if they start getting too restrictive. Okay, now for a completely different kind of threat. This isn't a rival architect. This is a cosmic critic who denies the point of building anything in the first place. Let's talk about Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles is just such a fascinating figure. He's not a fighter, he's a survivor. He watched the entire Inferno burn down by simply refusing to participate. He's the ultimate cynic, the void's bureaucrat, who just files away these grand cosmic struggles under the simple heading of futile.
He sees all of existence as the infinite wager. To him, this epic war between Wotan's search for meaning and the void's nihilism is just a game that's going to play out forever and ever. He is the cold, logical conclusion of the Jester's philosophy: fire creates hunger. He knows that any victory Wotan achieves will only breed new, hungrier problems. And that's the real danger of Mephistopheles. He represents pure intellect without any will. He has all the knowledge, all the perspective, but he has absolutely zero ambition to act on any of it. He's like a black hole of potential, observing everything and creating nothing.
This is what makes him so uniquely dangerous to Wotan. I mean, how do you threaten someone who doesn't care?
How do you intimidate someone who sees your ultimate triumph as just another Tuesday? Mephistopheles' absolute indifference makes him completely invulnerable. So, from the pure chaos of the jester and the deep cynicism of Mephistopheles, we escalate to the final, and maybe the most terrifying threat of all. This isn't a rival personality. This is the system itself. The white judges.
Think about it this way. If the red judges were the wardens of hell, then the white judges are the sentinels of a false heaven. They are the rigid corpse of the old heroic ideal, the ultimate defense mechanism of a reality that refuses to change. They are the very God-sized cage of morality that the jester is trying so desperately to shatter.
And just look at what they enforce. These aren't moral commandments. These are fundamental forces. The laws of physics, the rules of logic, predictability. They speak the language of law, a language that actively cancels out Wonan's chaos magic and freezes reality into a mundane, static, boring state.
Their power isn't divine or holy. No, it's clinical. It's a sterile white light with one single purpose: to categorize, define, and freeze everything in its proper place. It is the absolute, total antithesis of Wotan's dynamic, chaotic frenzy.
So this brings us to the ultimate conflict. Wotan's struggle isn't just against a person or a philosophy anymore. It's a war against the very fabric of existence. It is a war for possibility itself.
Because ultimately, as long as the white judges are there enforcing their absolute order, as long as their sterile light holds everything in place, the world is locked. It cannot be rewritten. They are the final barrier, the ultimate cage that Wotan has to break.
And so, we're left with this question. On one side, you've got the Crimson Jester's offer, a joyful, beautiful, all-consuming fire. On the other, the white judge's reality, a safe, predictable, sterile cage. Faced with those choices, the question for Wotan, and really for us, is what, if anything, is truly worth building?